Hey, thanks for joining. Today we're going to talk about your 2026 digital marketing plan for electricians. So get right into it. Uh, we do this every year, and I hope it's helpful. I'll give you kind of an overview of what we're going to talk about, and we'll just get right into it. So we want to talk about the biggest marketing trends for 2026. The key kind of central one is AI. We're going to talk about setting clear goals and a strategy for doing that. I want to talk about, given your goals, how you may or may not want to realign your marketing strategy in terms of budget, channels, considering the important trends that we're going to talk about. And you just want to set yourself up for massive success in 2026 and beyond. And then we'll spend a little bit of time talking about the tools that might help you do that. Okay. So, who am I and why you should listen to me? I wrote online marketing for electricians. It's available on our website. Uh, but I've been doing this with my team for since 2011. Gosh, almost getting up to closer to 15 years. So uh, we've been in marketing for a long time. We've seen it all, and it's really important as we enter kind of this chaotic time where AI is displacing existing technologies that you be careful about who you listen to. And I'm not trying to point at anybody in particular, just that there always tends to be a lot of hype, a lot of, you know, extrapolation that maybe is not warranted. And so you just want to be a little bit cautious about listening to things that people say and just try to stay grounded because these things never develop in the way that people early on will suggest they are in the hype cycle. And it usually takes longer and maybe takes a different form than people suggest. So just take everything you hear with a grain of salt, including from me. These are just some reviews. I won't go into these right now. Let's just get right into the biggest marketing trends for 2026. So, number one, AI is taking over. If you watched the presentation last year, I mentioned that it was going to become much more important. That happened. Now in 2026, you're not going to be able to even be able to avoid it. And actually, nor should you. At this point, I recommend that you have your key employees using it. It's such a helpful productivity tool. Uh, you know, it just speeds up a lot of things. You really should be providing it to your team. It's extremely valuable if used correctly. This is going to be bigger than the internet in ways it's hard to even imagine right now. And that sounds like hyperbole, but it's really not. It's really a foundational technological innovation. We're also seeing advancements in robotics and computing, specifically quantum computing, where these three things aligned are going to do some crazy things over the next 10, 20, 30 years and beyond. It's going to be kind of nuts. And so if you're not paying attention to this stuff, you really should start now so you're not caught unawares. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, SEO is morphing. And if you pay any attention to this stuff, people have been saying SEO is dead for like 15 years. And it's just not. And in fact, it never will be. Because what is SEO? It's search engine optimization. What is that? Well, it's just helping people, companies, be found when their customers are searching for them. So when it was the yellow pages, okay, well, that you had to get in the yellow pages, right? Well, when it was search engines, you had to get in the search engines. Those aren't going away, but the way that you interact with them might change. And you can already see this in Google, where it's a little more conversational, where it's almost like a research agent for you. And so the challenge becomes it changes. Whereas in SEO, it's, well, how do I optimize, the technicals of my site, my links, things like that to make sure that I get discovered, in close enough to the top. That remains. It will change a little bit for AI, and we'll talk a little bit about that. There's some things are becoming clear, but uh, this is something that's going to be fluid, and it's going to change a lot, and you're really going to have to be paying attention to it or be working with someone who is. Okay, number two. Number three, you cannot avoid paid, and really you shouldn't be now. There's a reason Google is a massive company with billions in keep free cash flow. It's driven by their advertising business, and it works extremely well. And you should be using it. Your competitors are, you should be too. This is especially going to be true for getting visibility in AI. These guys have tremendous capital expenses. They're putting a lot of free plans out there to grab market share, but at some point, they're going to need the revenues to justify their capital expenses. They are going to have to go to ads. Google, in effect, is one of the big AI players. I think they're going to win. They are funding their own AI expansion with their ad revenue. So companies like OpenAI are going to have to do the same thing. Okay, so if you're not doing paid, start. You will have to. It's gonna get like that. All right. Number 4, you're gonna have to become the face of your business. And I may have mentioned this last year. I have to go back and watch it again. But it's definitely true. We're already seeing that fake AI content and video is everywhere. There major events happen. Fake videos, fake images are being made that are very convincing and are tricking people. This is only going to accelerate as the quality of these models increase and it becomes easier and easier and more accessible to make this stuff. Okay, so for you, how how do people know you're real? Because people are going to be able to make fake businesses with fake people, fake commercials. It all looks real. It's going to look exactly like the media we've all seen for the last 10 years. So you're going to have to use yourself as an asset. You have to be the face of your business. You have to be associated with your business. People have to know that you're real, you're a real person, and you're in their area. You're going to have to do it. And then along with this is the next one. Offline marketing is back, and it never really left. If those of you that use it know this, but people are going to trust it more as this AI slop expands and explodes. So you'll see things like postcards just become even more meaningful because, frankly, they're more expensive. They will be more expensive to send out, and it's going to have to connect to a real business in the area, and so people are going to pay more attention to their junk mail, I think. But even so, it's an effective channel now, and you should be using as it is. All right. So setting aside the trends, what do you do? Well, you set clear goals. How do you do that? Well, you think about what your goals are. I mean, we're here in the middle of December. You have a pretty good idea of how your 2025 has gone, and you should have a pretty good idea of where you'd like your 2026 to go. And so you want to set clear goals. Okay, so I have a couple of resources that can help you do that. The first one is on our website. It's electricianmarketingagency.com/2025-market-report. And this is just a report on the industry. So you can see, it covers kind of what's going on as you well understand in being in the industry. The rewiring of America. There's a massive amount of demand for electricity, for these AI data centers, for the increase in electrical vehicles, and just long term electrical is going to be a huge driver of things, even as it just takes over the vehicle space, let alone everything with these crazy data centers. So there's massive demand for electricity, and if there's massive demand for electricity, there's massive demand for electricians. So it's great, but you have to be able to capture that demand. Okay, then we've just got talks about the consumer, talks about the digital marketing channel, and some of the benchmarks and the analysis. So it's a great report. Just go check it out. It's free. It's not gated or anything. Just go to our website and read the report. It's free value. Hope it's useful for you, especially the section on the KPIs. If you're not quite sure what those look like for digital marketing, take a look and maybe that will be helpful for you. Okay, so, and there's some screenshots of it here. The next thing is the planner. Okay, so we put together a planner and I'm just opening up here, to help you kind of come up with these goals and calculate some of these scenarios. So it's on the website. It's electricianmarketingagency.com/planner. But what it will let you do is play around with the numbers, play around with the scenario. So say you wanted to do 2 million in revenue, that's 200,000. 2 million in revenue. What does your budget have to look like? Okay, and we'll come at it with a couple different ways. There is select your growth level based on kind of generally accepted budgeting levels based on your gross revenues. Okay, if you want moderate growth, you want to be about 6 to 10%. If you just want to maintain, maybe it's a little lower, maybe it's 3%. You want a rapid market capture, you go higher. maybe 11 to 15%. And so whatever your growth level wants to be, that's where you're going to set your budget. So that's one, right? Okay, so there it is. There's your recommended marketing budget based on your goals. Step one. Now, how many leads is it going to take you to actually get to that? Because, right, you've got to sell jobs to get there. And so the next part of it lets you estimate how many leads you need to get there. And so there's really two things that are critical here. The first is, what is your average job value? And I understand that can be all over the place, but let's just say you're kind of service focused and your average ticket is about $750. Okay. And you convert about 75% of ththose calls that come in. So farther than I wanted there. Okay. So now that gives you, based on your annual revenue goal, the number of jobs you're going to need to get there, and based on your conversion rate, the number of leads that you're going to need to get those jobs that you need to reach that goal. Okay, so we're just kind of working backwards here, right? So that gives you your monthly breakdown. Okay, so you're going to need 223 jobs a month to be tracking at your annual revenue goal. All right, so now will your budget actually support that? And so you can actually do a budget calculation to assess, based on where you invest your marketing dollars, how you're going to get to those leads. Okay, and so this budget planner assumes the number of leads that you calculated in the previous step, and it allocates it between organic, paid, and offline. Okay, and you can play with these numbers. Just be mindful that they add up to 100%. So say you want to go a little heavier on paid versus organic, because you're not buying a ton of links or things like that, but you do want to spend more to get more leads. Okay, so you get warned if it's not 100. But here you go, and you can enter in your cost per lead. So now, granted, it's a little tricky with SEO. You might look at marketing agency retainers or things like that. However you calculate that, or even just set it at 0 and just invest in paid and offline where you can measure things more easily. However you want to do it, it doesn't matter. Let's say you're allocating about half and half of your non-organic spend to paid and offline, and you know that your paid cost per lead is on average $94, and your offline cost per lead on average is $50. Okay, so now you have your annual budget to drive all of these leads that you need. It's got the breakdown of the leads and how much you have to spend to get there. And so now you've got your total annual marketing budget based on your actual cost per lead, right? So now you've got two scenarios here. You have your recommended budget based on an 8%, or 10% or whatever of your revenue. And then another budget based on, if you look at your KPIs, what your actual cost is going to be to get those leads. Okay. So you want to play around with these numbers. You want to know your numbers so you can make realistic estimates. And then you want to, track your numbers to make sure that it's actually, if you find out, for example, that your paid cost per lead is closer to 150, well, that changes things, right? Because now you either got to spend more, or you got to lower your targets. So, and then you can download your results, email your results. So go to the website, play around with it. It's meant to be a free tool for you to help you do this planning and, be realistic about hitting your goals. All right. So let's jump back into the presentation. So these here are just some screenshots of the marketing planner, which we just went through. So now let's talk about your strategy. Okay. And so we generally teach an accelerated growth model, kind of a 3-phase process. And then there are elements involved in each one of these 3 different processes, right? So you want to drive leads, you want to maximize your conversions of those leads, and then you want to optimize the results so you can more effectively drive leads. And it just kind of goes in a circle, right? And so there's 3 buckets here in each one. You've got your organic for driving leads. You've got your paid. You've got your database. Database might be old customers. It might be, who you send mailers to, right? Those are basically the 3 ways that you're going to get your leads. Okay, and then you maximize your conversion. You have an effective website that converts that traffic into leads. You're mindful of your reputation. You're driving reviews so that when people find you, they find you to be a credible partner, and they choose you versus somebody else. And then there's automation. So as people get more accustomed to this technology. They want kind of a faster answer. You need to answer quickly. The longer it takes you to get back to people, the less likely you are to win that job. So you have to use marketing automation to make sure that you're effectively converting that traffic. Okay. And the last part is, okay, so you drove the leads, you converted them. Now let's optimize results. What was our total spend? What was our average cost per lead? And what was our return on investment from that? Where can we improve things? Can we drive down our cost per lead? Are there other channels we can look at? How can we improve our return on investments? All these things. Those feed back into, okay, well now, our return on paid was very good at a good ROI, good average cost per lead. Let's go ahead and spend more on paid because we can afford to. That's the kind of thinking that this process entails. Okay, so what does that involve? Well, it involves what we call the digital dominance method. And these are just the various tactics that you use to drive leads. We're going to talk about these in a little more detail, but SEO, paid ads, email, social media, all these things, right? You know what all these things are. And so with SEO and organic, as I mentioned earlier, SEO is changing very fast, but the fundamentals are still there and have not changed much. And so there's really no adjustments to make substantially, at least as far as you are concerned, quite yet. You still need to do the basic SEO stuff. AI has not overtaken search. It's not even close. It's increasing, but it's still at or below Bing levels, and you basically ignore Bing as you're doing this stuff. So, that will change this year. It's changing fast, but as of today, mid-December 2025, fundamentals are still there. But the AI content is going to make authority and real presence much more important. As I mentioned before, you are going to have to get more visible. Okay. One thing that is important that's clear from the early data is that original content is a premium. These are things that AI doesn't know. These would be, case studies, anything proprietary. It's not informational. What AI is killing is this informational content. All the blog posts you've seen for the last 10 years of, how to install a generator. Okay, well, AI knows that. Who cares? It's that traffic is just not going to get to your site anymore. So that content is becoming almost useless. There is some value there, but it's not in delivering eyeballs on your site. Okay, so you have to think about what kind of original content that shows that I'm an authority can I put on my website that will show AIs, these large language models, that we know what we're doing and we should be listened to, right? So there's that, and there's also external authority signals like certifications. The Better Business Bureau is one that AI actually takes very seriously. So, these are the things, and it's, you can see it's not a huge departure. It's just a little bit of a change from how things were before. That'll keep happening. Let's talk about maps. So with maps, reviews are more important than ever. It's the highest return you can get on SEO for your rankings. You got to get reviews. It's not going to change. If you don't have a good process, you better get one. And this has got to be a huge priority. Ads are showing in maps, and as I mentioned, that will show in AI soon enough. So you got to pay to play. That's just how it is. It shouldn't be a surprise. It's just the nature of the beast. Hyperlocal content. So that's content about your area, and local interactions or signals like driving directions. These still work. That hasn't changed. And again, local presence and authority are critical here, and it's only going to get more important. So, just bear that in mind. Maps are always extremely competitive, and if nothing else, just look around at what your peers are doing and do what they're doing or do it better. I mean, that's, at an 80-20 level, that's 80% of what you need. To talk about paid ads, as I keep mentioning, paid ads will enter into AI. I'm actually surprised they haven't yet. I think they know it's going to tick people off, so they're trying to hold off, but it's coming. Like I said, they have no choice. But you also need to test multiple platforms, not just Google ads, but Facebook or Meta ads. Those have a place. You're not going to get service jobs from those necessarily, but some of the, maybe a whole home generator install. That's something you could probably drive with Meta ads. Okay. And also Nextdoor is a relatively newish platform. It's been around for a while, but their ads platform is really expanded in 2025. It's turned out often to be a great source of leads, and so you don't want to ignore things like that. The fundamentals are still key: landing pages, well-written ads, ad landing page alignment. All those things matter, and you have to track your key metrics. You need to know what your cost per lead is. You need to know what your conversion rate is. You need to split test these things. It's the basic blocking and tackling makes 80% of the difference. You just got to do it, and that has not changed. Okay, email. With email, you should be using both warm and cold emails with commercial customers. So your existing customers, you want a monthly warm email of value. Don't bore them, but basically let them know you're here. I'll just give you an anecdote. I can never remember who does the things at my house. So when I need something done, I search my email box for whoever the heck it is that fixes my HVAC, right? And, you know, if they're in your inbox, you're more likely to find them. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Okay, so that's a good way of helping to nurture repeat and referral business and maintenance business. Now, what cold emails do is a couple things, but the main use is getting you in front of future commercial customers. So, there's not the same level of restrictions as there are with respect to, emailing residential people. We won't even touch emailing residential, but emailing commercial, if done well and tastefully, and appropriately, is a great way to get your message out, especially when you combine it with things like mailers and meta ads and kind of do a combined arms campaign. You got to be extremely careful. You never send cold email from your main email domain, your main web domain, for example. It's very easy to do this wrong, but if you do it well, it's a very high ROI practice. So keep that in mind. Social media. This is really for, electricians, home services types businesses. It's real, some people have the TikTok gift. I don't know how many people have actually purchased a local service from TikTok. I've seen nothing to suggest it. I could be wrong because I'm not a big social media guy, but what it has been useful for and what continues is just showing you and that you're a real company, that you have real crews, real team members. And this is going to be increasingly important as the AI nonsense becomes more prevalent. You have to present yourself as an actual person. People want to do business with real people. They don't want to be tricked by, online AI avatars. They don't want that. That's going to be harder to differentiate yourself unless you're a real person. And if you have a real office with real people, and, that's, people are going to be able to tell. They're going to be able to drive by, yeah, I guess they're there, right? So that's one. Video content performs better than any other kind and gives you authority. So just make videos. I am not great with videos, I don't think. But it blows my mind how many of our customers have watched a ton of my videos. And I'm just trying to explain how things work. I'm not trying to put hard sells on people. We just don't do that. I don't like doing that. I don't think it's necessary. So it doesn't have to be that kind of video, but just, helpful videos that help your customers do their jobs or know what to do, gives you some credibility and lets them get to know you and become comfortable with you and gives you authority. So do them. It just record yourself talk. Go on YouTube and watch the electricians doing stuff. I mean, there's just tons of it. And so do it. It will help you and it will become increasingly necessary. And also, YouTube content ranks in search engines. And so if you make the right kind and you label it the right way, put it in the right place, it can help you with SEO as well. Okay. So we're going to get swarmed with fake AI content. It's already happening. It's going to be in commercials. It's going to be everywhere. So you have to start yesterday. Start making videos, put them on YouTube, put them on your website, establish the reality of you, and it's just going to help you out in many different ways, unexpected also. Let's talk a little bit about marketing automation. As I mentioned, you have to respond fast and you have to be available when customers and soon AI agents are looking. So We're getting to a point, it'll probably happen in 2026, where you'll be able to deploy AI to shop for you, to get quotes, to, say, a consumer could say, hey, I need quotes from 5 electricians in my area. I've got this electrical problem in my house, or I need a new circuit breaker or circuit box or breaker box, whatever you call it. Can't think of it at the moment. So, go get those quotes for me. And so your website is going to have to be able to answer that and provide that information, or have the information on your website in such a way that the AI agents think you're credible and it pulls your quote. So that's where we're going here. So this is another form of marketing automation. It's going to be especially important with AI. Okay, and that's just not even things that you can do now, like texting back missed calls, email responses to forms, follow up on quotes. All these things make a difference, and it's essential. You've got to get this stuff in place. This is one of the biggest reasons that companies lose jobs, is that somebody else answered first. So if you're not doing this yet, outside of getting more reviews, this is probably the most important thing you can implement. Okay. And then getting repeat and referral business. This is what we were talking a little bit with the emails, of just keeping in touch with your customers. Many of them will forget you, but they'll look for your emails and they'll remember you that way. And just give them new reasons to do business with you. Give them reasons to refer their friends to you. And just always remember, the best salesman is a job well done. And show your work online. So we're really getting to a place where you're going to need to document your work, show it, and let people see what you do. Be transparent. Let them understand you, get to know you through video, see the work that you do. That's going to help you grow your business. Okay, and so AI. Right now, the best use for most people is kind of assistant and researcher. How do I do this? How can I do that? As I mentioned before, give your key people subscriptions and encourage that they use it. It's going to make them, or should make them, exceptionally more productive. What's coming next is chatbots and AI auto answer on your phones. We already use both of these. If you chat on our website, it'll talk back to you. If you call us, you're going to get an AI answering service. And those services will improve. I'm using them to test them and to help make them better so that I can recommend them for our customers. Okay, coming next is going to be AI chat everywhere. So the chat interface has kind of been regularized with respect to how people interact with AI. You're going to start seeing it in more and more applications that you use. All these software platforms are rushing to get AI in because they don't want to get, disrupted by an upstart. So if you haven't already seen it, you probably have. You're just going to see a lot more. And in the future, and relatively near future, this isn't as far off as one might think, robotics plus AI are going to automate a lot of things. We're talking on 5-year timeframes. We already have self-driving vehicles logging tons of miles. Okay, so if you're paying attention, you're seeing this stuff built. The capabilities are increasing rapidly, and with the next 1 to 2 to 3 years, you're going to start seeing consumer robots. It's coming fast, and after that is going to be workplace robots. So we've got crazy stuff coming. Now is the time to get engaged, to get involved, and grab market share, and be positioned to respond to these things and use them, or risk being left behind by people who are. That this is going to be crazy, and you better start paying attention if you're not. All right. So your 2026 plan. It's up to you, obviously, but you really should be planning to aggressively improve in every one of these categories and expand your local market share for the reasons I just mentioned. AI is going to change everything, and you need to be positioned to adjust and respond. And so I will be doing in-depth videos on each topic this year as things change, because it matters a lot for me too, obviously. And I'm building all of this for our customers. And so talk to my team about how we might help you. My personal goal, part of my plan, is to make sure that I'm in the top 2 or 3% of people in marketing who are aware of what's going on and reacting to it and preparing our customers for it and enabling our customers with these solutions so that they can remain ahead and they can achieve their own 2026 plans and beyond. So that's what I'm trying to do with videos like this and other things that we release. All right. So number three is your marketing platform. Okay, so where and how are you going to do all this stuff, right? Obviously, it's your website, but you might have a ton of different tools that you're kind of doing with this. And I'm going to show you what we use, and it's available for you to use as well, very inexpensively if you want. And so we use a platform which is called Revenue Commander. It's our platform. We use it. We put our customers on it. And even if you're not a customer, you can become a Revenue Commander customer. Okay. And so what does it do? It does everything. Everything that you need for marketing, basically, within reason. Right? It's your CRM, it's your pipeline. You can do sales funnels, you can do landing pages, you can do email marketing, you can do text messaging, you can do workflows, marketing automations, you can track calls, you can do your reputation management, and it's all kinds of stuff. And with us, if you're working with us directly, you can also manage your postcards through it. So just a ton of stuff that we've done, and you can replace $1,000 easily of monthly software charges using Revenue Commander. Even if you just use it for email and some landing pages and some marketing automations, it can save you a ton of money and make you a ton of money by getting these things in place that you need. Okay, so we went through a little bit, but like CRM and pipeline management, it means, keeping track, we keep track of our leads from emails, from meta ads that we run. All these things are tracked in here, and we have pipelines. And so if we've talked to them, if they've done a strategy call with us, if they become a customer, we track all this stuff in here. Okay, and that's what we use this for, literally this purpose. Sales funnels like these webinars, these are all set up in Revenue Commander. And so, from the form to get in, from the hosting of it, from the replays to the email sequences, it is all in Revenue Commander. The landing page, Revenue Commander. Okay, forms and surveys. So if you sign up for a strategy call with us, that is Revenue Commander. Okay, our emails, Revenue Commander. And not to beat a dead horse here, but I'm telling you, we use this for everything. It does everything. We can send text messages this way, voice notes, respond to them. This one, not a good screenshot, but you get the idea. Booking appointments, so you could use it to schedule texts, schedule crews. We use it for, setting up strategy calls with our team. We use it for scheduling, monthly meetings with our own customers. You can set up these calendars a bunch of different ways. It's really fantastic software. And you can set up these marketing automations. So, I run ads on Meta. When people fill out a form, they get a response. My team gets a response. It sets off an email sequence that invites people to schedule a call. It checks if they scheduled a call and continues. The kind of stuff you can do, it's the limitation is your imagination. It's really fantastic software. You can track your call reporting. There's things like call rail, for example. You can set that up in here. So all of our calls are tracked through Revenue Commander. You can do your reputation management in here. So, sending out requests, tracking requests, all these things, it's in there. You're tracking analytics. You can kind of see how well your campaigns are going just by pulling in the Google Analytics data. So it's there. Everything's in there, and you can try it. There's a free 7-day trial. Otherwise, after that, it's exceptionally cheap. So I've said, we run it. You can do a lot on it. We have 2 different plans. We've got Starter, I think it's called, and Growth. If you're a Growth customer, we will also host your WordPress website and do unlimited updates to your website as part of the service, within reason. We're not going to build you a whole new website. We're not going to do crazy things, but just basic stuff you need done on your website. We'll take care of that as part of Growth. And so the 2 plans are Starter, $20 a month. For all of this stuff, $20 a month is nuts. And there are some limits. You can only have 5 users, 25,000 contacts, but for most people, that's going to be more than enough. Okay, if You want to do more, you want to do more aggressive marketing, you cover a larger area, you want the web hosting and that thing, then it's $97 a month. But $20 a month is like the cost of one of these platforms, like MailChimp. It's probably $20 a month, maybe it's more. So for any one of these things, you replace all of them for just $20 a month. And I recommend it because we use it and we know it works. Put our customers on it. It's amazing. It's cheap. And so I'm offering it to you if you want it. Go to revenuecommander.com and check it out. Said there's a free 7-day trial. After that, $20 a month. Can't beat it. Now, if you'd like to talk to us about your actual market and the marketing services that we offer, we do offer a review of how you're doing, what opportunities we see, and just basically have a conversation about, kind of what you're looking at in your market and things that we would recommend to maybe help you be more effective and reach your 2026 goals. If that's something that would be interesting to you, give us a call or go to electricianmarketingagency.com/apply-now. There's a Revenue Commander survey on that page that intakes your information, takes you to a Revenue Commander calendar where you book a call with our team, and then you receive a Revenue Commander marketing automation sequence that helps ensure that you'll show up for that call. So you can get a call with us. It's a super valuable report that we put together for you and talk through with you. And you can see the marketing automation and work. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and give us a call or go to our website and apply now. Remember, we've got the 2026 planner and market report. So check out those free resources on our site. And that's it. So thanks for sitting through this. I hope you have an extremely successful 2026 personally and with your company. And again, please take advantage of the resources that we put out here. Check out Revenue Commander and sign up for a call with our team. We'd love to help you. Thanks for watching.